Back at it again on a Sunday afternoon, and Sean McVay has a baby, and his team gets obliterated.
Well,
Colin,
it's first of all, it was my favorite NFL bet of the weekend. Lions tomorrow is my favorite. It's the second favorite bet. Actually, Dallas and Dak are very good as home favorites when they're big home favorites. They play downhill. When that team gets the lead, Micah Parsons pins it back. They're a really, really good team. They don't play well from behind. If you have an elite corner and can take CD Lamb out of the game, Dak gets really limited. I mean, he and CD really play at a high level. It's not Burrow, Jamar Chase, but it's really special. And I think Dallas is a bit of the ultimate tease. About every third week, they just kick the you-know-what out of somebody. Everybody gets all worked up. Whereas Baltimore narrowly wins all the time. What they do to Detroit is rare. But in the AFC, Baltimore wins narrowly, 4-3, like today. They kind of ugly it up and win, and they just sit in the woods. Dallas, if you asked average fans, they think Dallas is up here and Baltimore's down there. But Baltimore can win from behind with a lead. I trust Baltimore, a better both sides of the ball, complete team. But Dallas does this. When they get a lead, it's very Buffalo. Buffalo's built to play with the lead. They play downhill. Then you don't know if they're running or throwing. Josh Allen on play action. So I don't feel differently. I think the Rams are a bit of fool's gold. And I said on Friday on FS1, I thought this was going to be separation weekend between the the pretenders and the playoff teams. And the Rams have been doing it on coaching. They have one really good player in their prime. I mean, they have a really good punter out of the draft, a left guard, a receiver. They have to hit about 4 more home runs in next year's draft. They have about $70 million, I think, in cap space. Rams are not an elite team.
Dallas's blowouts all look the same. Pick sixes, huge special teams plays. That game was over in the first quarter, which was kind of nice because there was 75 games going on this morning. You're like, I don't really need to pay attention to this one. That thing was over so fast. The other thing, sometimes in college when Pac-12 teams in the non-conference play a Midwest or an East Coast team and it's that 9 a.m. kickoff. Yeah. Well, the Dallas, how often do they play because of their brand a home game at 10 a.m. West Coast time? So pretty big disadvantage for the Rams. Obviously, I would imagine McVay in and out of the office throughout the middle of the week. But big picture for the Rams, why would you not entertain trading Aaron Donald? He's 32 years old. What would Belichick, Walsh, this is an opportunity. McVay's grandpa was part of that Niner team. Obviously, he's one of, I guess they've obviously had some great offensive players, with the Kurt Warner teams, but probably the best defensive player, one of them, definitely of my lifetime. If you could get a first round, obviously you get a first round pick, but a 1 and 2 2s, you need to reset the franchise. I think that has to be on the table. They're not going anywhere. Now, I mean, the Niners are in second place in that division. Seattle's clearly pretty feisty. They're going to be a playoff team again. Why not? You're not even essentially blowing it up because you still have good offensive pieces. You're just getting more draft capital so you can pivot with a guy 32, will be 33. Great defensive players aren't usually humming at 35 years old.
Yeah, and he was dominant early in that game today. So to me, I feel like with Aaron Donald, because of his cost and his age, you get 2 2s. Something magical happens when the third quarter ends and the fourth quarter begins. The energy changes. The fourth quarter, that's where games are won. And in business, it's where sales teams become legends, the fourth quarter. That's why HubSpot built Sales Hub to give sales reps the deal-making tools they need to win in the fourth quarter and close the year strong. Sales Hub Prospecting Workplace organizes your schedule, your to-do lists, your goals all in one place to save your team time in the precious fourth quarter. Smart sequences help sales reps close deals faster than ever. Plus, AI forecasting helps you accurately predict future successes. And with an easy-to-use management tool, reps can find, track, and close deals all in one place, which means less hoping for deals and more crushing targets. Put your sales team on the fast track now to winning the fourth quarter with Sales Hub. Learn more at HubSpot.com/sales.
I think you can get a 1 just because of the bidding process. It's like a home. If you're just bidding against yourself, you can kind of lowball. once multiple people come in and he's just too elite of a player at such a premium position, I think that it might start that way, but so many contenders would bid, like McCaffrey last year. The Rams had him for a 2, a 3, and a 5. And then the Niners were like, we'll give you a 2, 3, a 4, and a 5. So it would just drive up the price. I do think you get a 1, and maybe it would be a 1 and a 2 and a 3 the fall. Who knows exactly how you'd structure. I do think you get a lot right now for a team that's going nowhere. He's clearly their only asset that they could trade and still net a lot back. Has to be on the table. And like you said with Dallas, you're just not going to play the Eagles like this, which is who they're going to try to beat. You're going to have to beat them in a real game, right? Where you're not blocking field goals and punts and returning safety punts back for 60 yards. It's probably not going to look like that. Can you just play them straight up and outcoach them and not get penalties? And they've struggled in that situation. So this game, like the Giants game, like some of their just blowout games, to me don't look like the real games that they're always so disappointed after they lose.
So my take on San Francisco Cincinnati was that it's one thing if you're less successful than your brother and he lives across town, but if he's your neighbor and you see the Maserati in the driveway and that big house, it's kind of painful. He's your neighbor, right? Purdy on the same field with Burrow, you're like, oh shit. Yeah, this is not good. I mean, first of all, small hands, end of the game, strip ball comes out. That's the knock. That red zone interception. You've never seen Elway throw one of those. You've never seen Mahomes throw one of those or Burrow. That's a really bad interception in the red zone. I like Brock. He can throw the ball down the field. Had a couple of moves today, a couple of wiggles.
He's a good athlete.
I like him. Good athlete. But when you put him on the field with Burrow, so Kyle's lost to Brady in a Super Bowl. His dad lost to some great quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, right? Like everybody in the Shanahan family knows, you got to have an Elway. Yeah. He's lost to Mahomes in the Super Bowl with Garoppolo when they outcoached and outplayed him for 3 quarters. What do you do with Brock Purdy? Do you keep him in-house? I mean, what do you do here? You know, when you put him on a field with Burrow, it's not the same.
You know what's weird in 49er land? Up until Saturday when he was cleared for concussion, it was looking like Sam Darnold was going to play. And I think a lot of people were just intrigued what was going to look like, right? With Kyle, this offense. I was, you were, everyone was. I was really excited. Not disappointed when the guy cleared because, like you said, he did play well up until he started turning the ball over left and right toward the end of the game. But this team is built. And this is why Kyle's been able to do it with middle-of-the-road Jimmy Garoppolo. Purdy's been better than that version of Jimmy, but win at such a high rate is because their defense dominated. And today I looked up toward the end of the game. The Bengals had close to 30 first downs. They obviously they have an elite quarterback, wide receiver duo. Higgins is healthy. Mixon looked like he was in his prime today, running over 49ers. Their defense is not the same. And they're not built. We've seen Kyle's record on these comebacks in the fourth quarter down 8 or more points. That's not how they've ever won. And so when you're getting sliced and diced, and they've handled better quarterbacks and just kept the game close and won those games, they can't win a game where they are getting thoroughly outplayed on missing tackles, getting run over. Burrow's going to make plays. Now, when he's playing like that, to me, that's like MVP level. He looked as good as he's ever looked, just in terms of physically. Clearly, the calf is long gone. His rhythm and timing in that game just got better and better as the game went on. You were surprised when he missed a pass. But the 49ers, just like last week against Kirk Cousins, if they're getting shredded on defense in the passing game and they can't get off the field, they're just not going to win. And right now, they're in shambles.
Listen, it's in the early window, the best quarterback won every game. Late window, Mahomes is sick, so he loses. But you start looking at, and Goff's going to win tomorrow night. I mean, the best quarterback now. Once the weather, we have a big cold front hitting the Midwest and the East, our first biggie of the year going forward. Best quarterbacks win games.